Right, back live tonight, Tachyon in Focus, and thanks for staying on the new Tshwane Environmental Affairs and Agriculture MMC Obakeng Ramabodu says he will propose that a clean-up memorandum of understanding between the Metro and AfriForum be cancelled. The agreement reportedly includes grass-cutting projects and identification of illegal dumping sites, among others. We are joined now in studio by EFF Tshwane Chief Whip, Godwin Ratikwane. Good evening, thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers at home.
It has sparked a lot of debate around why would you want to cancel an MOU that is giving services for free to the city of Tshwane. Others are saying, well, nothing is really ever free. What is contained in this MOU?
No, it's important that we highlight the importance of governance and also go back to the Constitution. There's various pieces of legislation that actually governs who must provide services. In this case, you've got your Municipal Structures Act that will detail in terms of who is responsible to provide services. We cannot relegate the responsibility of the state or the municipalities to NGOs, and then we then say, no, it's free and therefore it is correct. Because in the future, it will lead to undermining of the government and its structures or its authority even. Because why should the government, in this case the municipality, collect rates and not provide services to the employees? Or the
why? When the EFF would have conducted cleanup campaigns everywhere, they were not in government, in some instances, it was a party program to go and clean up sites and dumping sites and so on and so forth.
I think also it's very important that we discuss the character of the organization in question. We are dealing here with an organization that has consistently defended racism, has made the racist utterances, and is always on the side of the racists and defending them at all material times. So the character of AfriForum as the subject of this MOU, or the people that we have signed the MOU with as the municipality, is also very important, because now they want to raise more funds, they want to push their Swargafar narrative and make sure that they now institutionalize their racism using legitimate institutions such as the municipalities and so on.
What was being racist about how they were carrying out their work?
No, in general, AfriForum is a racist organization.
But in particular, talking about this contract, now, with this MOU, what would have been racist about how they would have...
No, agreed. So when you cut grass, again, it is not that they're going to be cutting grass for all communities across the board. They are specifically servicing their own people to the exclusion of the rest. So you can see that the interest here is not really to cut grass, it's to make sure that there is a whites-only grass cutting, which now takes you back to the concept of Orania and the whites-only segregations that we were dealing with under the apartheid. So as much as you want to deal with it, it doesn't matter what they call it, but you must go and check the scope of their memorandum and what is it that they want to, or the areas that they cover. It is predominantly your white suburban areas, because they want to make sure that the white privilege is sustained. So as the EFF, we can't want to coexist with racism and racist organizations in general. And also, I mean, there is a lot of other problems. I mean, council has a duty to play and a role to play in this case. You have a situation whereby the report was never brought to council, whereby we could debate the issue of AfriForum and the city signing the MOU, so that we can debate those contents.
I wanted to come to that. How did the MOU come about?
No, so we learned about the MOU through the news and the social media, and I think the media statement that was sent out by the former mayor Brink that was removed, exactly for the kind of reasons, because at all material times he had made sure that the affluent areas are always taken care of. And this is also just a continuation of what he was trying to achieve in general, to make sure that the affluent areas are properly serviced. Your Mamelodi, your Atteridgeville, where you find black people, your townships and your squatter camps are not serviced. And then what then do you do? You then come up with an NGO that you know that already pushes the same narrative that he was already pushing, and now just institutionalize it so that it looks legitimate on paper.
Have they expressed their unwillingness to service townships?
No, it doesn't matter. They don't have to express it. It is by already by acting, because if they were already doing it, it was a different story. But look, the state has an authority and the responsibility to service the people. Unless if we are rendering and we are relegating that particular responsibility of the state and the municipality now to NGOs, then we must be clear that tomorrow anyone can just wake up and say, I'm also volunteering to start arresting people or do X and do Y. And then we should just allow it to be the case. I think in this case, we can't just coexist with racism and racist institutions such as AfriForum, and we just allow it to be. And the fact that you can't quantify something or a loss monetarily doesn't mean that there is no loss whatsoever. We believe that as black people, we are being asked to continue the apartheid legacy, whereby white people are well taken care of properly in their own corner, and there is proper segregation and special planning in that particular manner. Yeah.
So Kari Kriel, CEO of AfriForum, saying this, and I quote to be quoted correctly, but we do not need your permission to improve the communities we live in. We will work to improve our communities with or without you.
Yeah, so if then they didn't need the city, in this case, by the way, permission to do certain things, then why did they need to go to an extent of signing an MOU? Because they understand that they can't do certain things on the infrastructure of the city, by the way, without the authority of the city. So they want to tamper with the infrastructure of the city, and then tomorrow when there are problems, they come on the other side and start bidding. I mean, part of the issues here that we picked up with that MOU is that they are actually saying in that MOU that is signed that they want unlimited access to information of the city, which will also become a problem in the future, by the way, because they will have already an added advantage whenever they deal with the city, because then whoever that then comes will be on the back footing. But AfriForum will know everything about the city, what should happen. We believe that that is not a way to run the municipality.
Do you have capacity as the city at this particular point? We know the challenges in the Tshwane municipality, resource-wise, to do all these things. I mean, grass cutting is one, but there's a program of removal of invasive plant species. There is some community safety initiative. There's increased visibility, monitoring and reporting of suspicious activities to municipalities, assist and discourage land occupation, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so there is capacity in the city. The only problem that we had was that the previous government was deliberately ensuring that they neglect certain parts of the city and they don't service certain constituencies. And we believe that it's work in progress. But while we are improving the city's capacity, we also can't allow lawlessness, and we also can't be promoting special planning and segregation in the name of us just trying to acquire capacity through third parties such as your AfriForum, trying to short-circuit the system. But that tomorrow will come back and undermine the very same municipality that we are trying to capacitate.
Yeah. It seems that the Metro would have entered into a precarious contract here because AfriForum says, well, look, there is no cancellation clause, so we don't need your permission to improve communities. So you can't really say, we're going to come and cancel this.
That's one of the reasons why we actually are opposing that contract, because you can see already how do you have a contract that doesn't have a cancellation clause. Because now what happens now, you are binding us, I think, for a period of 5 years now, in terms of that particular duration. And now the people that signed that particular contract, actually it might have been signed by the CM, but it was actually a project of the EM. The Silas Brink, that is the person that was actually pushing for that contract. Yes, the signatory is the CM, but in any case, we have the right to cancel that particular contract. And I think what the MMC was talking about, Councillor Godwin Ramabodu was saying that, okay, let us go and propose it to MECO so that MECO can consider its cancellation. Part of it is that our people, when we were talking to them about this, they were saying, we can't believe that we're going back to those days where there is a service for white people, then there is a service for us, you know, the black people on the corners there, on the shacks and on the squatter camps and on the townships, but these ones are already catered for somewhere. And by some NGO or whatever the case is, because there was no public participation according to the Systems Act. There was no public participation so that, we invite all NGOs. So the process was not fair to start with, because if you were really genuine, you were supposed to say, okay, guys, this is what we are planning to do. We are requesting all NGOs to come with proposals and let us see which proposal we can choose from. But this was tailor-made for AfriForum with nefarious reasons and objectives already. They knew that this was their project. They probably even drafted that particular contract, and all the CM had to do was just to sign it. That's why it actually does not favor the city in that particular, because it does not protect the integrity of the city nor the authority of the city.
What else have you discovered in this particular department around some of the arrangements that are in place that coordinate how this department operates?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, we get to appreciate governance, and we are very much excited as the EFF that we are given an opportunity to showcase our capability to also run a department or two. In this case, we've realized that our people are really struggling. And, they don't have sufficient bins. You go all over the place. You can't find the bins that are big enough to cater for the litter and so on. And we believe that as we discuss issues and we're going through the budgeting and everything, we'll be able to implement programs for the EFF that can actually enhance the city's image, but also deliver meaningful services to our people and the residents in the city of Tshwane.
What was the challenge? Because, I mean, immediately saw the MMC getting on the ground and cleaning the streets. I mean, it looks something as simple as that. It was an easy picking. Yeah. Why was it not done? What was sabotaging that particular process all along?
Yeah, so there was a deliberate neglect of townships and squatter camps. It was a deliberate program of the DA to make sure that certain people or certain portions of residents do not get services at all. And then they go and service certain areas. But also you had a government that was dysfunctional. You had a mayor that was interested in public relations, just making sure that he does videos and does YouTube videos and so on, just to create an image that they are actually working when they are not actually delivering the services. So that was part of the problems that we picked up, because a lot of efforts were on public relations as opposed to service delivery.
So what would have happened now? Are you simply saying when you came in, you would have turned off the tap where it was flowing and opened the tap elsewhere? So are we going to have a situation where more suburban areas are being neglected, more resources being pumped into the township? How are you creating equity?
No, so what we are doing as the EFF, and I think generally as the new government, is that everyone is making sure that they go out there and they provide services to all areas. Because if you check the MMC of health, I think it's Councillor Mashabela, she has already been in different areas, without discriminating whether it's a township or it is suburbia, just to make sure that there is that feel that the government is not for townships and for squatter camps only, but it provides services to every corner of the city, just so that everyone feel included. And that's why Councillor Ramabodu also is going all over the places, whether it is bonded houses or it is actually your squatter camps and so on. He ensures that he goes and delivers services there. But also, if you're on the ground, you're going to be visible. So we had people there that were pushing paper, enjoying themselves in those air-conditioned offices without really the love of our people. Because while you demonstrate that you hate people, you make sure that they live in squalor. And in this case, we are demonstrating love to our people and to the residents of Tshwane by making sure that we are cleaning. And we don't just send the employees of the city, but we go out there with them, because sometimes employees must be motivated. They must see you. You must see them. You must understand their problems. I mean, you had a city that was not willing to increase salaries. It was not willing to comply with collective bargaining. Well, the city that was really neglecting and purging employees, by the way, ensuring that there is dismissal dismissals, just suspend you and leaving you there hanging as an employee. So that is actually contributing to the low morale, and the output then automatically drops of those particular employees. So now we are starting to see MMCs that are on the ground ensuring that they interact with the employees, pick up their challenges, and they make sure that they address those challenges so that the employees can actually provide the services that are satisfactory to the residents themselves.
Now, you are aware as the EFF that there are those in the city of Tshwane who would have wanted continuation. They didn't want the previous administration to be kicked out, right? They must have signed a petition and did all sorts of other things to ensure that that change doesn't happen. But there is a sense that now this approach that you take, where you come in and you say, no, we don't want that MOU because it's from these guys and we don't want them, right? It's going to create a situation where the city is seemingly saying, no, we want to take care of these particular communities, and those ones they are fine, they can take care of themselves.
Yeah, look, I mean, the people that actually were out there protesting, they were a rented crowd. And a lot of those people that were also complaining and saying they don't want the transition were not the residents of Tshwane. You would have John Steenhuisen, who's not a resident of Tshwane, who was pushing that campaign. The mayor there in the Cape Metro pushing that and saying, no, we can't do it. The people here and some other councillors and office bearers of the DA that stays here in Johannesburg will be telling us what must happen in Tshwane. So it was not really that the residents of Tshwane did not want that government out. The only thing here was that the people who were sponsoring this and those petitions were actually generated all the way from Cape Town and then fed to us as if they were legitimate petitions. Because if you make someone in Cape Town to sign for rejection of a new incoming government in Pretoria, as if they are residents of Pretoria, and you want us to legitimize that, I mean, that is something that we should not even be entertaining. But the key issue here is that we have removed that government because it was an illegitimate government. It was not a government that was going to produce any formidable results. You check the Auditor General report, it was already an indication that these people have been running this government since 2016, but they can't get anything right. There's vacancy rates everywhere, the infrastructure is collapsing, and they can't even pick up litter on the streets. So what then do you expect from them? You know, so we remove them, and I think it is one of the good things that we have done already for the people of Tshwane, and they are all happy about it. The reaction to our MMCs when they pick up litter on those streets is amazing. People are saying we've been waiting for service delivery. We now feel that we are part of government. We can defend government. We can at least say we live in a city that actually cares.
Godwin, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Coming on. That's Godwin Ratikwane. He's EFF Tshwane Chief Whip. What's making news tonight on In Focus? When we continue next, stay with us.